As we all know, Batman is a top 2 superhero of all time. His only real competition is Spider-Man, who both of these characters fluctuate between 1 and 2. Batman arguably has one of the best rogues gallery, as we all know. A lot of his comic runs, Elseworld stories, movies, video games are some of the best comic content we can get out there. And to add on top of that, his Bat family is one of the biggest growing family member groups in all of comic books. Gone are the days of just Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Alfred. You now have a sized family of over 15 people, give or take some at different points in time. Now, I like the Bat family. I think there's a lot about them that holds a lot of potential. I think there's been some really good stories that have featured a lot of different characters. However, I have been thinking, is the Bat family too large? Has it got to the point where there's too many characters that are involved at one time? And if there's too many characters, that DC simply does not know what to do with them. I would say around the 2000s is where the Bat family started to heavily grow in size. But it was around the Batman Incorporated time where it almost feels as if everybody was being given a spot as a Bat family member. I personally think it is a little too large. After Damian Wayne, there have been a lot of new additions to this family that have somewhat been pointless, don't really matter a whole ton, and aren't dealt with that much. I would even argue there are some family members even before Damian that are there, but that's just about it. They are simply there to be there. Before I get into some of my thoughts, let's just go through some of the characters who are in the Bat family. So obviously, Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Alfred are all a given. But now Robin, you have to split into 4 different people because you have Dick Grayson as Nightwing, Jason Todd, Red Hood, Damian Wayne, and Tim Drake, who's either Robin or Red Robin. You also have to split Batgirl into 3, maybe. You have Barbara Gordon Batgirl, who then becomes Oracle. You have Cassandra Cain, and you also at one point had Stephanie Brown Batgirl, but if it's not Batgirl, she's spoiler. There's Batwoman, Huntress, Catwoman, Batwing, Duke Thomas. There's even Ace the Bat Hound if you want to count animals. In all fairness, this team has featured a lot of characters come and go over the years. However, I do feel there are some characters that once you're part of the family, it, well, works like a family. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do, you'll always be a member. You even have people like Lucius Fox, Leslie Tompkins, Commissioner Gordon. They are a close enough extension to it to be considered a member. Now, realistically looking at it, it's probably the best bet that Batman would have so many people who are willing to join his crusade and help him take some of the load off so that he doesn't have to carry everything on his shoulders. However, I do very much enjoy the old school storytelling where he is a loner, that he likes or prefers to work alone. He chooses to take everything amongst himself and doesn't want to put anyone else in harm's way, even when he has a Robin. There are so many instances we have seen where Batman has help and he still chooses to keep them sidelined because he wants to handle it all on his own. I like the idea of Batman, of course, maybe opening his doors over time and accepting a Robin and a Batgirl. I personally have never been one to be a massive fan of Batman who just says, okay, let's take in 20 plus Bat family members. Another thing that is just so fascinating about having so many people part of the family who are all very highly trained and skilled is that at some point you do have to wonder, Why is Gotham still filled with so much heinous crime? How is it that you can have a multitude of Batman-like characters who are all watching over Gotham, and yet it's still a city with the highest crime rate and is likely the most dangerous place on Earth to live? With this many members all coordinated accordingly, and along with all of the technology, gadgets, and vehicles they have, he has a privatized military organization at his command. Everyone's job, you would think, would be so much easier with this much manpower. I also think a really big problem you run into is that the family becomes too large, that there are only so many things you can do with all of these characters. Look, Option is great, and the opportunity to be able to craft stories around these characters and look at what character you want to base the story around, or have them be the prioritized feature and character of the story, is very important. It can be fun to choose between maybe 4 or 5 characters, whereas in this situation you would be choosing between 15 or upwards of characters. It feels as if a lot of the new family characters that they have tried to introduce over the past 5 to 10 years have lost their speciality. They've lost their perhaps compelling nature to what the character was when they first started. And why I say this is because a lot of these characters are being created for an in-the-moment type of use. They're a brand new Bat family character who wields the bat symbol on their chest in a different looking suit than Batman, with maybe a couple of different features on their suit that Batman does not have on his own suit. And then after that entire story that was surrounded around that character is done, in future stories that deal with all Bat family members, a lot of them are really only shown to be skulking around the Batcave, or are even just simply used in name only. It really seems that when they try to introduce new Bat family characters, or they try to revitalize unpopular characters that no one really cares about to make them stand out a little bit more, they always get forgotten about eventually because they simply don't know what to do with them to keep them compelling in the long run. The reason why someone like Batman, Nightwing, Robin, Catwoman, Batgirl, their characters last is because what makes them compelling in the moment in a particular story, that interest in the character continues moving forward. And there's a reason why certain characters like Batwing or Duke Thomas or Kate Kane, even you could honestly argue Huntress, that's why those characters don't really get the, I guess you could say, comic book panel page time that some of these others do. I think there is far too many characters to keep track of, to the point where if something is going down in Gotham, and let's just say, for example, Batman is handling the issue, and it's getting out of hand, and Batgirl comes in to assist, and so does a Robin. Maybe Batwoman comes in to help as well, and you still think to yourself, well, why in the world are we still having trouble solving this problem? We need more help. Okay, well, where is Batwing? Where is Red Robin? Where is Nightwing? Where are all of these other characters that are apparently employed as a Bat family member trying to better Gotham at any costs? And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but from the perspective of DC Comics, perhaps they look at this and think to themselves, if we spin off characters from Batman, then maybe we will have multiple successes on our hands that are up to par with Batman. That is just far easier said than done. I don't even know if that can be done. You can only get so close with someone like Nightwing or Red Hood, but after that, I don't think it's possible. I also think it waters down Batman, and it makes who he is and the job he's doing less special. This was a crusade he wanted to take on his own. The I only work alone mentality might feel a little cliche, but that is literally who he is. And maybe I have a little bit of an unpopular opinion here. Batman, Bruce Wayne's true reason of doing what he does every night gets lost when he allows so many other people in the picture to help him do it. I feel as if this is not a life he would truly want for anyone, and if you're choosing to do it, that's on you. There's no need to make a Bat family out of it. And along with that comes with the fact that I just think it is a little too overwhelming and too similar, not distinct enough. So many of these characters just do the exact same thing that Batman does, just not as good as him. There's not enough about them that makes them different from one another, which falls back into the compelling situation, which simply, well, doesn't make them compelling. I've seen two arguments that actually go against a lot of the things I'm saying here. One being the fact that the family's not too big, and a big reason why you don't always see everyone is because those characters are off doing their own things. And then the second one is that Batman, Bruce Wayne, deserves a family. Well, my response to the first one is that is exactly the problem. There is so many characters you're dealing with that DC is literally forgetting about some of these new family members where they're no longer even important anymore. So if the reasoning is that they're just simply not there because they're doing their own thing, why would you even involve them in the first place? What is making them an important character that they even needed to be created? And then when it comes to Batman having a family, that one I understand, and I'm willing to give it a little more leeway as well. However, I still think there is a way to regulate it a little more. I wouldn't want to get mixed up with Bruce Wayne having a family by the definition of him literally having a Bat-styled army. There's even a really good piece in the Batman White Knight series where Bruce Wayne is considering adopting Dick Grayson and taking him on as a new Robin, in which Alfred even says to him, "Do you wish to have a family or do you wish to have a battalion?" And I think that is a very good point and some sound reasoning that goes into creating a form of a Bat family. I think Batman having a family would look a little more similar to what he never got to live his life with in his mother and father, Thomas and Martha. In my opinion, this is the amount of members I think would be okay in a Bat family over a course of an entire career as Batman. I would personally go with Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Cassandra Cain. Maybe a 6-member at the most. And then when Batman starts to head into his retirement age, maybe around his early to mid-50s, whenever you want Bruce Wayne to actually retire from Batman, you could add in maybe in his last 1 to 2 years as Batman, another character. Throughout possibly a 20-year career running around rooftops fighting crime, and only having about 5 to 6 Bat family characters come into the picture, that allows more time to get closer to these characters, to actually treat them like a family, and to make each one of them compelling so that they all feel important. But those are just some of my opinions on the size of the Bat family, whether I like it or not. So you guys in the comments below, let me know if you agree or disagree, or let me know some other opinions you have on the size of the Bat family. Do you think it's getting a little too crazy? Do you think it's just enough, or do you even possibly want more? But everyone, that is all I have for you on this one, so I hope you all enjoyed the video, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.